and welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm talking about the grass some more. So currently, where a lot of the fodder for animals, cows particularly, comes from is these pivots, and I'll show you those here. Okay, so those pivots that you're looking at currently, those suck water up from the ground and then sprinkle it on the grass. They come in there, they mow the grass, they put it in a pile. Then I believe there's another step where they actually spread it out, maybe move the pile to turn it or something like that. And then they bale it up and ship it off, okay? So, and this is, as you can see, a very small amount of total area. And they really just choose these prime, flat, convenient areas to put these things. Well, here's what needs to happen, okay? Because that method is using up all the groundwater and not really utilizing the rain cycle or the grass cycle for our benefit, because we've got millions of times the acres that are like this that aren't ideal. So we go through the process that I've explained before like I've done here, transforming the juniper, the sage into the grass. This is not ready for harvest yet. This has probably 1 to 2 more seasons before this would be ready to harvest. So once ground like this is ready to harvest, then harvesting in it is going to be different than what you would harvest on the pivots, because the grass is already dry. So I would venture to say, it's safe to say, you can get one good cropping off of this a year without irrigation. And I'm guessing that it's a possibility to get maybe another harvest of grass fodder in the spring. You might be able to cut this in the spring and get it to grow up and then cut it again in the fall. It's a possibility. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to test for that once I have the ability. But basically what that does is that gives you, these pivots produce, I'm guessing, 5 or 6, harvests a season in those little areas where there's way more of this area and it doesn't need to be watered. It just needs to have the appropriate equipment to so the grass just needs to be collected when it's mowed like this, right? So there doesn't need to be a process of, mowing it down and then drying it out and then baling it, because it's already been dried, at least in the fall harvest. So it just, and if ideally, bringing the cows right out to do this in an intensive grazing method is ideal. But really, the world currently needs fodder bales. So baling this somehow would be the goal. And what I'm saying is that it's completely doable. And the amount of fodder we're going to get off of this grasslands by restoring the grasslands and turning the grasslands back into grasslands, getting rid of the sage, getting rid of the juniper, that's like just giving us free fodder to feed the animals. That these pivots right now are sucking our groundwater dry at a rate that's unsustainable. Okay, the trees, these junipers are sucking water out of the ground. It's unsustainable. The sage, same. It's just all a bunch of garbage that's growing, and we could have grasslands. Okay, and really the only thing it needs to be developed, and I'm sure among all the farm equipment that we have currently available to us in the world now, there's probably some farm equipment that I mean, it's basically like a lawnmower. I mean, you're just catching it and bagging it instead of just mowing it and throwing it down on the ground. I mean, I guess mowing it and throwing it down on the ground and then driving and doing the bales and all that, it could be a way to do it too, but I think it's just a little bit too much. Like, if we can do everything in one pass, it's going to be better for the ground. One lighter weight machine taking the grass opposed to, I think it's 3 or 4 different machines and semi-trucks they put right out onto those pivot fields, right? And I don't think all that stuff is going to be good for this context. So I don't know, the machinery is going to have to be looked into, but this is just a no-brainer. It's like a freebie. Clean up the juniper, clean up the sage, get free food for your animal and livestock. So all right, like, subscribe, have a wonderful